Thanks again for
Yeah, she's open. All right, folks, if everybody's good to go, we're going to call the meeting to order. Welcome all the friends and residents I see in the room here. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:04. And if we would, everyone, please stand for the pledge. And Carter, if you would remove all non-scouting hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at least I'm calling you Carter.
Yes.
All right. So if you haven't signed in, please sign in. And there should be agendas there on the table if you need an agenda. If you have an agenda. All right, so we'll get started here with item number 3, our town board topics. Talking about a fee schedule update for our building and zoning department. The town clerk and our code enforcement officer are working on reviewing and updating permit fees. And we're going to ask the board to put a resolution for us to approve an updated fee schedule. To summarize, Brenda and Mr. Keir did some calling around and checking out to see what these adjoining towns are charging for things like building permits and other fees. And we're way behind the numbers on those. We're not even close. So the ability to adjust those fees is there. We just want to support that action and put a resolution through to make sure that we're doing it right and we are authorizing it and we're aware of why and what and how much. Those fees are available to be seen on the town website, so not yet. Well, when we update them, correct. So you can look and see where those fees are now, and once they updated, you can see what we've moved them to. And again, I think we're just trying to keep up with things. We're not asking for any more than the additional towns are asking for. So if anybody would be willing to give me a motion on that. Don't all jump at once.
Make a motion.
Motion's in a second.
I'll second.
All right, any questions or comments or thoughts on that before we vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, thank you. The code office posting, I had a preliminary posting last month. I changed it. I put some additional wording in there so that when the applicant comes forward. So that's out there for you guys to look at. If you want it changed or any additions, let me know. Otherwise, I got it in an email ready to go to the county HR department, and I will hit send at the end of the meeting. Community focus update from Christy.
Oh, that's good. So we have been really working hard to get the community focus up and running again. The deadline for the next edition is June 5th. And you can send the articles in to Brenda, of the town. And, we think it should be out mid-June. We were all very, adamant that we needed to get it back up and running, and I'm actually really excited about it. So we have some helpful articles for the residents coming. We're highlighting some of the community members that do things for our community, so you all can get to know them better. We're going to use it as an avenue to request things for maybe our fire department, donations, things like that, and make sure that information gets out to everybody, so you know where you can help us out and help them out. That's the biggest thing, and then, so you'll notice, I just figured I'd mention we got in the vouchers, we just paid for the last community focus. I don't know what happened with that, but the bill just got to us, so luckily we don't have late charges. And also Brenda and I talked about trying to find some ways to maybe make it a little cheaper, because it's a pretty expensive endeavor, and we printed on very nice paper in very bright colors and very high definition, and I think there's room to fix that. So, I think that's about it on that.
Yeah, the bill ended up getting emailed from one person to another person, and
I figured it was just as a transition, but now we have it, so we can move it forward, but I'd like to see it lower. But we'll get there.
talking to the cheapest
We'll
guy in the
get
room, I'm all for cheap.
Yep, and also the logo, so I don't know if everybody got a chance to vote on the logo. I don't know if we're gonna talk about that at another point, but the logo choices are out there. Put a vote in, we're gonna take the top two, we're gonna put it in the community focus, then we're gonna have everybody vote on a logo, and we're gonna have a logo, which is super exciting, so.
If you didn't take notice of them in the hall,
Yeah,
they're
please stop.
quite attractive, I really like what I see. And please vote. Cemetery funding. All right, so we got an ask, the town board got an ask last year from Village Corners for some additional money. And Kevin went back through, I went back through, Kevin was present, Bruce was probably here, Pete and I were in the room. I remember the number was $2,000. As a father, my comment was, and still is, what we do for one, we do for all, right? So we have four cemeteries officially in town, one that is our cemetery anyways, but we really ought to be considerate to North Bloomfield and the rural cemetery behind the Historical Society, so, if we're gonna throw money one way, we should throw money to the other three, so, let's be prepared
Can
for
we
that.
look at
Yes,
I'm curious about how it's budgeted in the budget,
yeah,
because there's multiple line items, and I don't know if because Pioneer's hours, that's already accounted for or not.
well, that is the mystery right there.
Okay, and also there was a request for 2 for each, and they got 10.
Well,
Right.
10 is what's in the budget.
Right.
That's the available.
No, I know, I just,
Two
it's in there, I
is what
wanted to
the
see.
ask was
Yes.
for, correct.
Yeah.
is the rest earmarked for something else?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you wanna take that one?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, Jeff hinted about some of the needs up there as well last
Yeah.
time.
Well, originally, there was some concern about, in the Pioneer Cemetery, about some of the monuments falling over. And so that's where we talked about increasing. How it crossed over to also helping the other cemeteries, I'm not sure, I'm not opposed to that by any means. I don't really, so it's a longer story than this, in that there was a group that was gonna come and do some free monument repair in the private cemeteries. They wouldn't do it in the public cemeteries, but they were gonna be in town anyway, so they would be willing to fix them while they were here at a cost. So the town board asked me to estimate a cost of how much money we would need. I don't recall how much it was, maybe like $5,000. And then, so they agreed to, that board agreed to the 10,000.
And that's the budgeted amount for
It
cemeteries,
is, and I
just
don't
in
have
general.
a use for $10,000 right now, other than trees and, because we're not set up, we don't have anybody set up to fix monuments at this point. The company that was gonna do it hasn't responded back to me at all.
Sure. And we're on the eve of budget
Yeah.
creation for next year.
Right.
So I think it would be wise, we obligate what we've already committed to, and then we keep that money in place until we have an understanding of the costs that will incur in the Pioneer Cemetery. And then we may have to adjust or increase the amount overall, because I don't think your costs are getting any cheaper, right? It's not getting any cheaper to pay your bills.
No, no.
Yeah, I understand. You got it.
A few years ago, we came pretty close to, the town came pretty close to owning the other cemetery, the rural cemetery, and we'd prefer not to.
And I remember that was the concern with the prior administration, that the fear was if we don't help our cemeteries, we're gonna be stuck with our cemeteries, and I don't mean that in a negative way, it's just, it's more stuff on our plate that's gotta come out of the pot.
Yeah, so it makes sense, to support the cemeteries.
Yep, I'm all about getting ahead of it and being prepared for it, so.
You know, and I spoke to Marna too, she was kind enough to take me to the cemetery, and their budget for mowing is around 4,000 plus a year. Because if you think they have to weed around every single monument, it's substantial. So her ask compared to when you know that what that number is not that high.
And look at the fuel prices.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to guess better in the budget, right? All right, any more comment on that? So, I'm gonna say, do we need to have a resolution to confirm that we're gonna send a check to Miller's Corners for the $2,000 we promised them? Shall we do that? Or it's already basically been decided, correct?
Yeah, I think it's business.
It's fine.
Business, really.
All right, so I'll ask our clerk to add it to the voucher list, and I'll make sure the check is cut, and I'll get you that $2,000 as quickly as we can get a check made out to you, all right?
Thank you very
You're
much.
very welcome, I'm sorry.
Greatly appreciate it.
I'm sorry you had to ask twice, and I'm sorry it took so long.
Oh, it's quite all right.
All right.
Thank you.
Everything seems to take longer now that I am in a government position.
Been there, done that.
You sure have. All right, fire department, CGR study. Okay, so we're gonna assign 2 board members to sit down, and meet with the fire department representatives. So my thought was and is, I would like to be one of those members, please. And I wanna sit down with the president and the chief from each department. Is that good with you guys? All right, and then there'll be the 6 of us sitting in this room, and we'll talk about that study. I'll answer any questions you got. You'll get a copy of the study, and then we're gonna talk about how we're gonna move forward. All right, and then I owe it to you guys for that opportunity first, and then that CGR study will be sitting here in the town hall. Anybody wants to come and look at it, read it, see it, you're welcome to do so. We can scan it, we'll put it up on the website if you'd like to see that. So that information will be out there for the community. But I'm gonna sit down with the fire departments first, and we're gonna see if we can come to some agreement amongst the 6 of us to move forward fairly for both departments. And along with that, I'm willing to do whatever I can do to help you guys fix what's bad, right? We gotta find a way to get people interested, we gotta find a way to get people involved. We gotta find a way to increase the membership here in West Bloomfield, and let's see if we can work on some harmony together going forward. So when you 2 departments gotta do what you gotta do, that maybe there's a little smoother cooperation, a little more understanding. And you know me well enough to know that's the goal here is let's fix this thing and get it behind us, and let's get our community protected, and let's keep you guys comfortable with where you are and what you want to do. All right, that's my commitment. If there's another person that wants to join and it's okay with the board, let's do that right now. I know Christy, you've talked to the fire departments quite a bit. Unfortunately, Kevin,
Yeah.
we've had this
Perfectly
conversation. And Ruth, Pete, where do you feel?
I'd like to see it through because I was part of the original and I have no personal, so I would like to see it through because honestly, I still don't fully know why we did it.
Sure.
I mean, we agreed to do it, but I think at the same time, we were also making changes anyway. We knew that we had to, I think the main thing, I think what I had gathered from it when we had proceeded to do it was that the intent was to find out what everyone is doing and what we're doing and compare, are we doing enough?
Sure.
So I think that part is good, but other than that.
And if you wanna do it, and then I can be your alternate. That way if it doesn't work out,
Either way, I
That's
just, we
fine. One or
need
the
to
other.
follow the rules, so we don't have too many members in the room and have to declare it a town board meeting, that's all, so. All right, so me and you, is that, so if the town, if the rest of the board members are good with that, I'll ask for another resolution to authorize Ruth and I to sit down with the two fire departments. Any further comment or
I'll make the
questions?
resolution.
So Christie's gonna give me the motion. We got a second.
I'll make a second. I'd just like to say too that I think this is a good way to move forward, to show that this board is really interested in working with the fire departments, showing transparency, no favoritism, and work through this and really put it to bed. And hopefully everybody is happy in the long run.
Okay. All right, so all in favor? Aye. All right, we will schedule that meeting with you guys before the next town board meeting. And I'll send you both an email tonight. You get the dates with your two presidents. Ruth and we'll sit down, we'll talk, and we'll sort this thing out. And then we'll make that our old business for next month, and we'll release the outcome of our conversation and our plans and so on to the community. You comfortable with that? Okay, everybody good? Okay, Fountain Park. We need to assign at least one town board member to Fountain Park to replace Mr. Harmon. And my understanding is we have a citizen representative, Ms. Outhouse, that's already assigned to Fountain Park. So those would be the two formal representatives. I think Ruth, you might have mentioned that this was something you might have been interested in the past, to be on the Fountain Park. Ruth, yeah? No?
I mean, not that I wouldn't, but I didn't. I have a lot of
Well, I don't
things,
wanna-
I have a lot of things on my plate right now.
I respect and understand that, I just didn't want to misinterpret you. I think you thought you showed some interest before, so I didn't wanna cheat you out of it.
No, that's fine. If there's someone that's interested and has some extra time, that's certainly.
Anybody, Kevin, T?
Well, I'm already doing solar with Christie and Brian and Brenda, so, we've got enough.
I understand that too. I mean, I can do it, and if you're interested in doing it.
Unfortunately, overcommitted.
Okay, I guess I'm on the hook, folks, okay. A motion to nominate me. Oh, again, jump right on that one, all right. Any other discussion?
And I would attend a meeting or two with you, but I don't wanna be the guy on the hook.
Don't sweat it. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Who's
The wheels of the bus go running over.
caring about what's stopping them?
Yes.
All right.
I'll second, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got it. All right, here's the dreaded executive session, if needed, under category 105F, regarding the zoning board. The zoning board of appeals is a 5-member board with 1 alternate, and we have 2 applicants listed below. I believe both applicants are present in the room. Yep. So Mr. Gary Hadfield and Ms. Andrea Stein. So this is the opportunity where we go into an executive session, we go back into the break room, and we have a conversation with our 2 applicants, and we'll move on from there. So, motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Ladies before gentlemen, Andrea, you wanna follow us to the back there and, they're done, right? Can I get a motion to close executive session, please?
Motion to close.
And a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're back. Okay, now, I guess I need to ask for a resolution so that we can seat, Mr. Gary Hadfield as our new member of the board, and we'll do that real quick. alternate at the zoning board? Okay, Ruth,
Second.
thank you. Kevin? Vote, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Gary, Andrea, thank you both. You're now members of our zoning board. And the alternate's gonna be on the hook to do all those crazy things too. You just don't get as much money, I'm sorry. But you'll all be in the same group there and working together and moving forward. So thank you both very much. Okay, let's move on. I'd like a motion or discussion on the minutes. Any notes, changes, updates, corrections? No. I would like, if you could, add to the minutes an answer to a question that we had. Is there a maximum limit to the amount of the override? The answer is it's lesser of 2% of the rate of inflation. That was from Mr. DeGraw. I want to know.
Could you repeat that for me, please, or give it to me after the
I'll
meeting?
give you my note on the minutes at the end of the meeting for you. You got it. And then I think that was the only change I had. So if anybody else has got something to say so, otherwise, the motion to approve minutes, please.
I'll make a motion.
Pete,
Second.
thank you, Christie. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are good. Okay, code office report. I'll give you just a quick overview. Jim here from the county is doing a great job for us. I see him here a couple times a week. He's not just running up the meter on us when he's here. I hear him working, I see him working. Whether people know this or not, I get every email that comes into the code office to my email, because when we canceled the contract with Richmond, little did I know I became the de facto code enforcement officer. Yeah, that's the role of the highest elected official in town, is if we don't have an eye the wheels of the bus. So, Jim's a great guy. He's been treating people fairly. He's been responding. We don't really have any huge problems other than a property line dispute up in North Bloomfield with some canal manure being dumped too close to the line. That's been turned over to the higher agencies. It's a civil matter between the two people. We do have a whole bunch of new construction going on. We do have a whole bunch of permits coming through for a variety of things. Jim's been very good and he's responded very well. And we have used up the free 40 hours we get from the county. We are now paying for him to be here, but we're ready to hire a new clerk for the building department. And that'll be happening here within the next week or so. And as of tonight's meeting, we will move that offering up to the county HR for a full-time code officer, and it's something we've needed for a long time, and I'm finally glad that we're on the verge of doing that. Town clerk report, that should have come around to you guys, been looked over, so if there's any comments on that, now's the chance. Otherwise, I'll look for, here we go, we have a motion to approve. Ruth, second. Thank you, Kevin. All right, with no comments, all in favor? Aye. All right. Justice report, that was floating around here, if you got a chance to look that over, that says who's done the naughty things and how much they've been fined, and all the money that our wonderful town justices reining in from all these terrible deeds in the town. Any questions or comments on that? And I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
Second.
Thank you, Ruth. All in favor? Aye.
You skipped yourself this
Dang, this was the highlight of my night. All right, the supervisor report. Thank you. I'm sorry, I get carried away sometimes. All right, so the supervisor's report is basically just kind of a breakdown on where all the money goes, because that's another thing I find myself is. I am the chief financial officer of the town of West Bloomfield now, and I'm on the hook for all this stuff. There was a question raised last time when we get down here to SF1 West Bloomfield and Iona Fire. There's a huge amount showing there, and what we found today was we looked this over. Brenda was very helpful and dug out the prior supervisor's reports. It appears in April 30th, 2024. That number was not a negative $500,000. It was a positive $17,000. And then the next supervisor report, that number jumped to that negative side, and it was 167,000. In February 25, it grew to 181. In October 25, it grew to 371, where it held steady until this most recent supervisor report. And I believe what happened there was there was a gentleman named McElroy who was the accountant before that date, and he put the items in the budget in the proper columns with the proper codes. We switched. We no longer use Mr. McElroy, and we now have a bookkeeper named Holly Deegan. She's also the bookkeeper for the town of Benton, and I talked to her many times. I emailed her back and forth a lot of times, and I had a conversation with her on the phone today about this, and she's going to determine what happened, because the belief is these budget codes that we assign to expenditures are very specific. And when the budget codes get entered into the Williamson Law software we use to create the budget, provide the reports, supply the reports to the state comptroller's office, amongst other things, these numbers change every time we have a money issue. I move money over to Jeff's fund. I pay a sizable bill. We pay our vouchers. We disperse money to the fire districts and so on. Every move changes something else, and that's how these negative numbers appear. So when we see these negative numbers, it means the money has been allocated or moved. It doesn't mean we don't have the money. It doesn't mean we have a negative balance somewhere. We have a positive balance, as you can see in the supervisor's report, and we have this thing that's called a uncommitted fund balance, and that's the extra money, right? That's where all this money comes from that hasn't been specified on the budget. This isn't a free-for-all, we don't get to spend it, but that's where we find the shortages for things like an engineer's visit to a culvert pipe that costs way more than we expected, and we get all worried about, or we see these fees come in from the attorney's office that exceed the budget numbers and so on.
So she's looking.
She's going to look into that. I'm also going to send an email to Williamson because I need to know more about that. And that is part of this budget process that we're coming up on. So we do have to get a budget in place and organized for the approval by the community for next year. And we don't have a budget special.
Oh, so it's based on usage.
Oh, yeah.
And it just happened to have.
It's the amount of time the lights are on, basically, right? So, it would be nice if we could say, hey, it's 2 a.m., we don't need them anymore.
Okay, just checking.
Yep, no problem. So some add-ons onto this report for you. I'm applauding myself. I got an email from Ontario County. It was an email from Ontario County. They said that they had a surplus smart board with projector. And I jumped on it. And I picked it up on Friday for free. So we're gonna have a smart board and a projector for our meeting room here. And our planning board is gonna love that. Planning board said they would really wish they had something like that so that people can come in with a file and put it up on the board, and then they can make comments and changes right there on the board. They don't have to spend money on prints and so on and so forth. And Mrs. Langer, I'm friends with her husband, he's a super mechanic. She sent an email, I emailed back, she said, sorry, somebody already took it. And then, you're gonna love this, I had to find an email at a county meeting on Monday, and I opened up my email at the county meeting because one of the people came in for a presentation that had sent their paperwork in late, and when I opened up the email, I saw an email from Mrs. Langer telling me that the board was ours if we wanted it. So don't tell the people at the county, I sit there and got that board instead of looking at the email it's supposed to be the county meeting. So Friday I'll bring the smart board back here, and then I'll see if it's something that Jeff and I can figure out how to get in here mounted and hooked up. If not, we'll turn it over to our IT guys. Our Zoom meeting is back in business and it's up and running thanks to Brenda. And Brenda tracked down the Zoom account, and she tracked down all the necessary stuff and got the Zoom account reactivated. And then she wiped the laptop over here and rebooted it and got rid of some dated pictures and stuff on there for the Zoom meeting. So now we have an official Town of West Bloomfield Zoom meeting. It's no longer under the former supervisor's name.
Thank you.
So thank you, Brenda. You worked very hard on that. kudo, I was blessed to serve chicken barbecues to the employees of Ontario County last week at King's Catering. And I stood there in my favorite apron, Carter Whitmore, and everybody laughed. For those of you who don't know, I wear a Wonder Woman apron when I bust the tables up at the firehouse. I think it's fun. People get a quick laugh out of it. That's just kind of the odd fellow I am. And they all thought it was great, and we had a great time, and had a nice chicken barbecue. And there's you see some pictures on the county website. All of us town supervisors standing there, very humbly serving people food. It was a really nice experience. I met a lot of nice people. My wife came and helped me. She'll do anything for chicken barbecue, and I got permission to bring her. And she knew probably more people than I did because they patronized her business. So that's the bright spot for me this month. All right. So if there's anything else, if you guys give me a motion to approve the supervisor's report.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Pete.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, off we go. All right, so what else I missed? So we got the Parks and Recreation.
Vouchers.
Vouchers. Okay, pay the bills. All right, so the vouchers have made their way around. They've been signed. That's the cycle of bills this month. I commented on how thick they were. Wow, lots of bills. You warned me. The highway superintendent warned me. Wow, you see a lot of money come out of the accounts this month. And he is right. So if there's any comments, questions about any of the vouchers, say so. Otherwise, let's have a motion. Thank you, Kristen.
Second.
Pete, second. Thank you, Pete. All in favor? Aye. Okay, off we go. Parks and Recreation. Is that you?
No, I haven't got any prices on tree removal yet. We've been busy with the flooding and getting ready for summer, so it'll be coming.
Gotcha. Well, then we'll table that.
Yep.
Highway report.
Okay, so I mentioned the flooding. We had the flooding when we mostly cleaned that up over on Baker Road. We've still got some work to do that's a little more extensive. So we had barely even got out of winter when that happened. Still had a plow equipment on, still had to get our snow fence down. So now we're right into paving, oil and stone. So that's going to have to be on the back burner for a little bit. And when we get some more open time, we'll start to repair that. So our snow fence removal has been completed. We got our new Cat 938 loader. You might have seen in the bills that we had an emergency loader rental because about the time that that flood happened, we had to rush out and repair everything. We got our loader out of winter storage and found out mice had been into it. So we had a week of rental on a loader, and but since I've gotten that fixed. Our two new plow trucks were delivered to Viking Body Company, and we had a pre-build meeting. That's very exciting. Some movement on that. Hopefully we get those trucks before the next plow season. Obviously we're mowing grass in the parks and the buildings. We had a guardrail repair that we had to do on Factory Hollow Road. That a guardrail had fallen down, and some probably saw that in the vouchers as well. We've been seeing Olmsted and Martin roads. They were milled and paved this week. Milled last week and paved this week. They look great. We've already had our the first round of striping on the roads, and currently we're prepping the road for oil and stone, which is planned for next week.
Super.
Yeah.
Busy guys.
Yep, we're busy.
I fatten them up. I bring them all the goodies that come from vendors. We don't need them. So I've been up to the highway department 3 times now with that, and I try to say hi to those guys. I know them all personally, and they work hard. They do a good job. And Jeff's got a really good crew up there. So
Yeah.
anyways,
Good guys.
I can't say that enough. And just worth mentioning. Mondays are the days I'm here in town, and Jeff, me, and Brenda, I don't know, every Monday.
Yeah.
We sit down, we talk about what's going on.
Sure.
I call us the Key 3. That's a scout term for any scouters in here, but we talk constantly. I probably talk to Jeff 4 or 5 times a week on the phone. I'm in and out of the office crazy. I call myself crazy. Brenda calls me fearless. I think there's make sure both. But there's a lot of stuff on here, and we truly are doing our best to keep our eyes focused on that. So thank you, Jeff. Motion to approve the highway report.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Kevin. Second. Thank you. Any more comments, questions?
I had one question. I see that there's flood damage, right? So, did you ever, I sent an email about a flood resilience, grant at New York State. I know that the dates are coming up. I'm currently working with other towns with my
Okay.
position, as grant administrator. And there is a resilience, I think it's June, no, there's a deadline, but it would help with shoring up. It would be certainly something that we can benefit from as a town.
Okay.
If you,
Yeah, I'll look back through.
I think we, use, who did we use, our MRB, so, I can't contribute, because of my, I work with a private company that does grant writing specifically, but it's certainly something that they do.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that it's been, yeah.
It's definitely something,
Okay.
every time I look at my, my town, my own backyard, that's a problem here, period, many are. So it's certainly something we can use for the culverts in different areas that, something, but it would be something that has to be written by a grant.
Well, we're in the middle of a culvert grant study right now, so we've got, I don't know how they would overlap.
Right, I don't know,
I'll look at it.
but I can forward to you.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Again, a little bit of what I've done.
Sure.
That was it.
Looking for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Public comment time.
I've got a
one
couple,
very
oh,
quick.
there's two more items.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
There's,
Jeff.
Yeah, yours.
No, it's different topic, not for you.
Gotcha. Okay, so Wesley Road culvert, issue. So we had MRB look at it, and, what we're trying to do is to pass the liability over to them, they're the experts. They sent me back their recommendation to reduce that road to a single lane. So, over the bridge. So I'll have to get the signage for that and, figure out how to put some roads on there. We're basically just trying to get people to stay away from the edge where the damage is. The center section, apparently the original section is in good enough condition to go over, but the sides are starting to get them. It's all temporary because part of this culvert grant, that should be finished up pretty soon during the implementation grants, if there's designs included in that.
Was it flood damage?
It wasn't, this one doesn't tend to flood damage, no. Yeah. So that's all I got on that, and then on the 284 agreement, if I can move on to that. So because of the flood damage, because of the price of oil, it's changed a lot of things in what we intended to do. We were gonna oil and stone all of Baker Road, and now that we have to do the repair there, we're gonna hold off on oil and stoning that, probably till next year, and definitely till next year, because we gotta get in there and do blow repairs. And, so we're gonna take that money and spread it into some different roads. So that is, I just wanted to update the, I don't think I brought it up to this, share. So the only things that I changed are the highlighted parts.
Yes, we have
Oh, I need one for myself. So you can see, under the oil and stone, I've highlighted the road, right, then oil and stone. It actually reduced the amount of money that was there originally. Anyway, it reduced that amount. And, let's see, I didn't give you the originals, but on the next page, you can see that, had Homestead Road, which we did, that's the exact amount that we spent on that. The next one is Amon Road, which is cold mix. So the Homestead Road was milling and filling with hot asphalt. And B is Amon Road, which is gonna be cold mix paving. C is Martin Road, which is 29,600, which we already did. Baker Road is the flood damage. I'm just estimating $26,000 in flood damage. E is Cox Road, which is an addition, which we added to because that road is showing some minor damage that, and what the road I took off of there was House Road, because that is held up better. So those Cox Road and House Road is kind of a swap. On the next page, you can see where I highlighted the F-250, the 2020, that should actually be a 2025 F-250 pickup truck, not a 26. I took that out, and I'm recommending that we don't buy a pickup truck this year, so we can pay for some of this, the damage and the increase in the fuel. So those are my recommendations. I know it's kind of hard to understand this stuff sometimes because you don't know exactly what I had intended the first time. But this is, the reason I like to do this is because if you're driving down the road and you see work on a road, it's not on our agreed list. I'd like the board to be aware of what we're doing. So,
Jeff, I have a question about Amon.
yeah,
You maintain the dirt section of Amon very well. Why do we keep it to that kind of speed?
you prefer it to be higher or lower?
Oh. I mean, it's in great shape for a dirt road, but, I mean, I use it every day.
You know, we do is fill potholes.
I know.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because it's, I'm just asking the rationale because it's not that section.
This is not bad.
The first section is though, right? The oil and stone and chip?
That is for,
Is that the other section?
it is.
So it's
Yeah.
listed twice?
It's listed twice because we have to do the cold mix as a permanent improvement, then we have to oil and stone
That's my
the
question.
same year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking it's in great shape. If you're,
Well, we have to fill the potholes just because we
Yeah.
get complaints, but, yeah.
not,
No,
This is for the grant,
no,
or this is just.
this is just regular road work.
Okay.
But
But you
I'm
have
supposed to have a 284 agreement with the board.
Right,
So
so that you can,
the first one that came through was really, a lot of it was guesses and estimates.
right.
So then I like to do an update. These are more exact
Right.
numbers than I just got. They're based on the new oil prices and,
Raised.
based on, so the other one had numbers that I made my best guesses. What I'd like to do is get a signature from the board on this tonight. Did that before. I mean, the biggest thing is I'm not buying a pickup truck and I'm changing some of the oil and stone roads.
Did they see more of?
Can I take them down? You want to see more of?
Yeah. Yeah. Go.
Send a double line and sign that one.
I know.
So signature on this form is adequate for you, or do we need a resolution as well?
Yes, please.
So as my copy's making it down and signed, we'll hand it off to Jeff.
Yeah, and then make sure you get me a copy, Jeff.
Do we have any more questions for Jeff on any of this, or? I think it's safe to say we can ask more questions as they come up later.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to ask questions because, you know, this document is moving and changing all the time. That's why the first one is my best guess so that I can go out and get prices and get some of my work started. Like for instance, we just did Martin Road. Martin wasn't on the first one. So the board has to allow me a little flexibility to jump on a road when it does fall apart. But this is just, it's a, you know, a best case scenario for us. And this could change as well, and if it does change dramatically, I would let you know. Okay.
Great. All right, if there's no more questions, somebody need a motion, please? Christie, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and Jeff, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the the communication. And yes, it's very helpful because you get some questions like, what the heck are they doing to this road? Why is the road blocked off?
If you have to, you
Right?
go back and look at this, right?
Right.
Well, and I was one of those guys, I went down Cherry Street the other day and I was stuck in traffic and I was kind of swearing about why I was looking at my watch, I had somewhere to be, and I'm like, what the heck's going on up here?
He's doing
It's
something.
us.
That was us on Martin.
Yeah, Martin Road, they were moving the
Yeah.
milling machine over there.
Yeah.
I felt a little dumb. Yeah. Okay,
Do we generally recognize, the firefighters as they get different certifications? Because I know, Blaine has recently, he's interior and exterior now. And is that something that we could start doing, like as these firefighters pick up certifications, bring them up here, pay them for what they've done, if they're interested?
is that something you folks would like to see?
I have no problem with that.
I mean,
We recognize them at the fire department ourselves.
I know, but I feel like the town should recognize them too.
I
Even
think
just
that's a
knowing
nice-
too.
I think
Right.
that's a nice gesture.
I think it would go a long way, is getting to know our members.
Absolutely. We got a lot of fence mending to do is what I said. At a couple of meetings recently, and I'm more than happy to do that. Like that, I think that, thank you.
So maybe as you have people that, have milestones or certifications, you let us know so we can get it into the agenda and then
And you
we'll,
also have to backtrack.
and we may have to do a little backtrack and figure that out.
No problem. I think we can, let's put that on new business, let's make it a topic for our discussion going forward, and let's find a way to do just that, and let's try to work seamlessly with our two departments in that regard. So I think that's a great idea, thank you. Any other stuff? Okay, here comes public comment time. Okay, anybody that's got a question, thought, comment, now's your chance, they can put it out in the air. Again, this isn't always questions and answers, and, my number, got a pen and paper, is 624-242-641, is that correct? I'm pretty sure, and,
I know mine by heart, I don't know yours.
it's on the
Well,
website.
you can always call me, I'll transfer you.
You can call my cell phone, 985-509-1350. I will answer your question. I'll get back to you. I will call you back.
Is it time?
It's time.
Okay.
How are you?
I wasn't here last month, so I just want to try out the podium. That's all I have. Okay, I just wanted to say that I really like your idea of hearing about, firefighters, but just in general, hearing about anything and everything. So when I listen to your roundtable that is up on YouTube, I find out about the weeping cherry tree, which is cool. Maybe that got mentioned at a board meeting and I missed it. But it's that kind of stuff that I think would go a long way to even saying in this space.
Sure.
So there's that one. You also mentioned Memorial Day Parade. And we won't see each other again until after that. So maybe that gets mentioned. So might be others that would be just as happy to have a digital copy. So just know that maybe there could be some reduction. And I understand that there's a large percentage of residents who really would want big copy. But just know that that's an option.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Come on down. If you want to stand and speak loud, I'm okay with that.
No, I can make it to the podium. Well, what's the time limit, 3 minutes? Couple of items I wanted to, first of all, congratulate Gary and Andrea. Hopefully, our zoning board of appeals is now full, and that's a good thing. It's always good to have new people on the boards and to see the boards be fully staffed. And I wanted to ask a question on the cemetery funding. Not really a question, but there's no one here to represent the North Bloomfield Cemetery Association, but I'm sure that they would be more than happy to receive any funding that you have available. I know they're trying desperately to maintain the cemetery association, so that it doesn't get turned over to the town, to maintain. And so far, they've been able to sell graves and pay for the mowing and pay for gravel and other things. The highway department has helped us out in years past with stump removal and tree removal and some other that's always a big help because it cuts down on the cost for the North Bloomfield Cemetery. So cemetery funding is important for North Bloomfield also, and I'm sure for the rural cemetery behind the historical society. Next item would be the CGR study. Did I understand you to say that it's going to be on the website?
Yep, I'll ask Brenda to scan it and get it on the website. I'll have, I think I got 6 or 7 paper copies in the office. I tossed, I think, 4 or 5 to Brenda, and I think I got 3 or more in my office. Paper copy will be available.
So the public.
Not now, you're going to do that after you.
After we
Right.
meet with the
So I
fire
want to
department.
clarify, don't look for it immediately, it's going to be, it will be up after they release
Right.
it to.
Once I sit down with these 2 fellows and their presidents, I'll make that available here and we'll get it on the website. Okay, I want to give them the first opportunity to review it without
Okay, yeah, I was just
having to.
curious how we'd be able to see it.
Absolutely.
Next item, I guess I would just want to comment on was the parade, just to remind everybody, North Bloomfield does have their own little parade. It's at 8:30 and it's the shortest parade in the world. But for the last 10 years, John Moffett has attended as town amended supervisor, and Rick Milne has attended as the mayor of Honey Falls. But we've never seen the town supervisor from West Bloomfield at the North Bloomfield parade. So we would certainly appreciate anyone from the town board to
Sure.
join us in North Bloomfield at 8:30. 8:30, and there's a brunch afterwards at the North Bloomfield Community Chapel, put on by the Neighborhood Association in North Bloomfield. And my last item was be solar. I think a few weeks ago, we were told that there was gonna be some solar workshops. And then when I listened to your YouTube meeting with the supervisors and things, I got gathered from that there was 2 board members appointed to work on the solar law, solar amendments, solar zoning code changes, whatever they are. But I haven't heard anything about these workshops or any input from the public, from the citizens, from the farming community. So I'm curious when those are gonna be and when we'll know about them.
Well,
And that's all of my comments, and I'll sign your.
no problem. I will move that ahead, and I will ask our 2 board members where they are, and I'll get some of those details. And on Friday, I tape that segment that goes out on YouTube, and I'll be happy to elaborate more then, after I've had a chance to see where we currently are. We are gathering quite a bit of information. If I'm not cutting you off, I don't need to. I found some time a week or so ago and went to the West Bloomfield Congregational Church. They had a fellow in there talking about solar projects. Deal was his last name. I can't place his first name at the moment. Thank you. Colin Deal. He lives on County Road 39 in East Bloomfield. He's on Facebook with a bunch of information. I don't know exactly where he fits, but his comments at the church were geared towards finding a way to live in harmony with some of these solar fields by grazing sheep. And it seemed like a pretty interesting concept. And the more I listened to him, the more I realized he isn't in support of these huge projects. But he's kind of come to grips with, if they're there, we gotta find a way to make the best of them. That's my take. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but, also tomorrow night on Channel 10, watch the news. I forwarded a link to my board members, to Brenda, about a solar expose from Berkeley Brain and Brett Davidson, one of the gray-haired guys, and apparently talks about higher powers than a town board and how they override our laws, and they override our policies, and they override our processes, and they push these projects to the communities. So I'm interested to see what that's about. I think I've made my position pretty well clear. I am not against solar projects. I am against them in the wrong place. I am against them in places that we don't see fit to have them. I don't want to see useful, productive land turned into solar projects. I don't want to have a phone call from somebody upset because now the glare's in their window while they're having their coffee every morning and they can't see the view shed out their window anymore. I want good policies, I'm sure the policy that we put in place is gonna be a little restrictive at first. We can always go back and adjust, we can always go back and amend, we can always go back and make some changes. But right now, we have nothing, and that's why we have a moratorium. We really need to get something out there, so at least we have a starting point if these guys come knocking on our doorsteps. So that's my 2 cents worth on that. And yes, we welcome your feedback, we welcome your input, and I'll get those answers for you, I'll put it up on the YouTube program this Friday when I'm on. I think that sums it up. Mr. Griffin,
I'm Jay Griffin, I live at 1820 Cox Road. I appreciate everybody here tonight. That's a tough act to follow. But at the end of the last meeting, I was up here questioning the sign that was going up on the road where the Amish people live. And I wonder if you've done anything more along the lines of what kind of a sign you're gonna put up and what the sign will be.
yes, the consensus here at the town hall now is we're gonna move ahead and we're gonna put some slow-moving vehicle signs out in a variety of places, specifically on Wesley Road. However, with the comments earlier by Mr. Paul, it looks like we're gonna be able to put a narrow bridge sign or something up too, right? So I think that's gonna have to be added to the conversation, and we're gonna have to see if.
Slow-moving vehicle. I guess when I hear slow-moving vehicle, I think of a tractor, maybe with a plow, maybe with a disc. I don't think of a horse and buggy. I just think in the interest of a town, in the interest of safety, and the interest of that family, why you can't go with a buggy sign. I was coming back from a wedding a couple weeks ago down in Gaines, Pennsylvania. Small town, just north of the border, and then into Dansville. We saw the buggy sign in both places. I took a picture. I called the town clerks in both towns the next day, on Monday. Both town clerks said they put up buggy signs. They had no objections whatsoever, none whatsoever. Everybody was happy with the buggy sign. I just can't see a slow-moving vehicle sign being in the best interest of the town and safety of that family. I just can't see it. I've talked to a number of people, and Judy will affirm this, the last month since the last meeting, about this subject, because I guess it just means something to me. We lived down in Seneca Lake for a number of years, outside of Dresden, and we had buggy signs all over the place. And it seems whenever there was an accident, it was a bad accident. The horse, the people. I can see an accident on that road, Wesley Road, with a slow-moving vehicle like a tractor, and not being any problem whatsoever. Sure, the damage is gonna come to the tractor, hopefully not to the people, the odds are not. But when somebody hits a buggy, it just, and coming out of Dansville, one other thing, we saw the sign. 2 minutes later, we see a buggy coming at us. 2 cars behind it, going slowly. I naturally slowed down.
It's been in this town.
On average, 1 year.
How many people walk with limp permanently because of it?
Driving the car to hit them.
Right.
You know, I was just driving around the other day, and I think I might have crossed into Richmond. I don't know where I was, to be honest. But I also saw there are these little signs that kind of look like, I'm gonna say campaign signs for better, that have that talk about the different places. You might actually be able to get something like that and get several of them, you know, for a fraction of the cost, and that might also help too. We could do something in conjunction. I don't know.
Is there a problem with the cost?
No.
Good.
It's not.
I didn't want to hear that. I'm glad there's no problem with the cost.
We were erring on the side of caution when we thought about the expenses related to the benefit to just a single family. That doesn't mean I feel any differently about the Millers as I feel about the Wades or, the Joneses or the Smiths. I'm in a learning curve. We talk weekly about expenses, costs, monies. I go to training seminars and I'm told, oh, you can't do that, you gotta get permission. Or you can't just spend money that way, it's gotta be in the budget. You can't do this, you can't do that. So I am probably being more cautious than I.
If money's an issue, I was at a session the other night with some people and talked about it. And $100 like that in a heartbeat. I get the money you need to put up that sign, so please, don't have money be any issue.
It's mostly a question of policy and
Policy.
policy and procedure. I'm very cautious that I do things right. I'm very cautious that we try to work within our budgets, because I don't know. I don't know how much it cost to run the town last year. I can read the budget, I can see what the actual expenditures were. I don't know what kind of surprises came our way that weren't in the budget. I didn't pay attention if there were any budget modifications during the year by the board. Those weren't in my wheelhouse at the time. And after we talked the first time, my turn was, let's pump the brakes a minute, let's look at this carefully. Let's make sure, we're not making Jeff spend $1,000, $2,000 out of his budget that he wasn't prepared for. And I'm not, spending money loosely without the board understanding what we're paying for, how much it costs. And then when we do buy some of these things, there's rules I gotta follow. We have to put it out to bid. I gotta get 3 prices. I gotta decide, is it the best value? Is there a reason one's more? Is it better quality? Is it, there's a whole bunch of things. I hinted to that earlier. When you're in this position, you find that you can't make fast decisions. You can't make instant decisions. Yes, when it's a matter of a critical issue, I got a culvert washed out, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna worry about the money later. But in a situation where, we're gonna ask for approval for the purchase of stuff that we didn't anticipate wasn't in the budget, I got 4 people here that I gotta talk to and convince, is it there? Now, Jeff may have some discretionary funds in his bank account. That's Jeff's. I'm not here to tell Jeff how to spend highway department money. We're here to approve expenditures and authorize expenditures, but we're not telling him what he can and can't spend on. He has his set of rules too. We both have these rules, so that's why we talk a lot. That's why I go to these training seminars. Brenda and Christy went to one recently as well. And we come back with all kinds of information, and I'll be honest with you, we've come back and we went, jeepers, our town doesn't do it that way. We better look into that. Oh, jeepers. It sounds like this is how they did it, and I don't know if we have a procedure in our town handbook for that. I have the employee handbook today because here we are looking to advertise a vacancy in our town here for an employee, and what do we offer this person? What type of benefits do they get? What's the limits of sick time, leave time?
Tim, you're going around and around in a circle. What about, how did you come to the slow-moving vehicle sign? Could you tell
Sure.
the group here how you came to that decision versus the buggy sign?
Well, we went back to the thought of, do we put up a sign for a single purpose, or do we find a more broader sign?
A single purpose is a family of 9 with kids from 2 to 20.
Well,
3 buggies going down back and forth on the road with 7 horses.
And a pony cart.
That's more than a single family.
Do we put up a deaf child sign? I've seen those around. So
There's one right next to your shop.
Children at play, they're all over. Look
that
around.
deaf child is
It's
grown
no
up
laughing matter
and he's
either.
moved away,
Do you
right?
think there was this much discussion about the deaf child sign from the 1980s?
Well, that's a state highway, so you'd have to ask the highway department, because we didn't pay for it.
It's
So-
an awareness.
I understand all of those
And
things.
if you're going to spend the money for a slow-moving vehicle sign, it may, the impact, and you've got the money to spend, why aren't you, the real reason that the whole thing came up is because there's horse and buggies. Do you know why the reason came up, not something that doesn't pertain to it?
No, I hear everything you're saying, I understand your points.
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying they're not valid points. What I'm saying is, when we look at something, we take time to consider everyone involved. We consider Wesley Road, and yes, one family, I don't care how many's in the family, drives around in a buggy in this community. But how many farmers do we have that traverse that road pulling
Oh, that's a
equipment?
terrible, you can't
I'm
compare
just saying.
that, Tim.
I have to be open-minded to everything, and I have to consider more things than you would ever understand, because some point someone's gonna come asking me a question, and I'll have an answer.
Well, you may have people
I invite you
influencing
to
you
drive a
up here.
tractor around down County Road 37 times and see how much you enjoy it.
I will consider that carefully.
Ask Donnie Grenman how he likes it.
Yeah.
Ask Keith down the road how he walks in the cane, he can't even hardly do anything anymore because he got mowed down on 5 and 20 on his tractor. There's countless farmers in this area. My brother-in-law shouldn't be with us here today because he got mowed down in a tractor down
I'm
the
not
road.
against the signs, Pete, I'm not against the signs, those are good signs.
You're not! It sure
I'm
does
not
sound
against,
like
I didn't say that,
Can we
I didn't say I'm against that.
Hold on a
sign.
second, my question, I have a question, I wasn't here, so I didn't hear. But if we do a sign for slow moving on Wesley, we're gonna, for tractors and what have you, then we'd have to do it everywhere because they're all over the place. But, horse and buggy, and I'm sorry, I don't know where everyone stands, but I agree, that's something that's specific, because it's, and the thing of it is two things it can provide. One is it will keep us aware, we see this sign, we know we're aware that this is not, so in West Bloomfield, we expect slow moving, we expect tractors, we all do. 5 and 20 is inundated with them, but we don't expect horse and buggies. And if I see a horse and buggy sign, I'm gonna, oh, they're here.
Thank you.
And that is,
Thank you, that is exactly
and
right.
furthermore, I think that something like that would invite additional families to this community, saying we care enough about them to say, pay attention. So my stance, I'm sorry if it's against everyone else here, but I fully agree that we need to have something that points out that these people are here.
That was well said, well said.
Thank you.
And we have both.
Or, that's
That's what we talked about last time.
It's clear there's a need.
It's not,
that would be
but there's
everywhere.
a cause for two. Well, we have to be careful about.
So I guess I just want to say,
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
If there is a need for those slow moving vehicle signs, Pete, after especially the accidents you've named, then I would 100% support it. When you talk about making rash decisions, from the outside, it did appear that the no was a rash decision, okay? I just want to be sure you
Didn't we talk
understand.
about at the last meeting about talking about it with budgeting, so that we could discuss it further? It wasn't a no.
I just
We
hate
never
for
had
us
a
to have an accident and then go, oops, we should have done something.
That's right.
To be perfectly
That's
honest,
right.
it's,
That's right on.
and I'm not, again, I'm just saying, we really, I wasn't aware, I guess I missed that because I wasn't here last month. But I think something like that is something that we need to do, not, you know,
Everything we're saying, Ruth, is what
I,
people do.
otherwise, it was just something, I don't think I really like connected because there was a lot of stuff, there's been a lot of emails going around.
Right, so
Trying to
let me
track.
just be very clear. We haven't said no. We haven't said no, all right, and I'm not about to say no. This is how the process works. You give us your thoughts and your inputs.
Okay, thank you.
We bring it to the town board. I rely on the diversity of the board and the diversity of the mindsets at the table to bring these comments forward. I applaud your comments, Ruth. I support your comments, Pete. We all work together, we all do our best to get along. Pete and I sometimes share some conversations that are a little gruff. At the end of the day, we are friends again and continue to be friends, and we have a terrific relationship, and I think all of us work together very well. And this is the process, yes. And if we want to add it to new business for the next agenda, please do, Brenda. And Ruth, I love your opinion, I support your opinion. I didn't say no, we don't need these signs. I'm saying we need to look at this from a general aspect. We need to consider the cost, consider the locations, consider how many signs we're gonna put up. And if we got the money, full speed ahead.
I told you, we get the money.
Okay, but I have questions in the YouTube video.
I know.
That was a little misleading, that's all.
Mr. Stork in back of the room. Sorry.
I hate to get up here again and bring up the same issue, but I've been coming to town board meetings since about 1985, and I have never seen the town board spend this much time discussing a sign. It's always been the highway department. Whether it's a yield sign, a stop sign, a curve sign, a deaf child sign, whatever the signage is, bump ahead, the highway department has always put up the signs on our town roads. Why is this town board getting so involved in this buggy sign? Why is this town board getting so involved in this buggy sign? Why don't we let the highway superintendent decide whether we need a buggy sign on Leslie Road on both sides of the hill?
I think he decided no, and then
I don't think he decided no, I think he ordered some signs and then he got told to send them back.
I
I could be wrong,
exactly
but
discussed it
I'm
as a
still
board.
concerned about, why is a sign a huge issue for this town board? When we got a highway department that's always put signs up. I've never heard them discuss in 30-some years, never heard them spend this much time arguing over a sign. And if the money's the issue,
Don't worry about the money.
this gentleman's already said there's enough people in the community will pay for the buggy signs if he says we need them. I mean, I don't get it, I don't know what's going on
It's
here.
another issue.
There is no other issue, it's.
I mean,
it's a
isn't it
matter
his budget, doesn't he pay for signs out of highway budget?
No,
No.
No?
that's why signs are paid out of the A account, not out of the DA,
Out of a town budget,
out of the town.
so they gotta
general.
budget the money for signs,
Correct.
and you're out of money to buy the buggy signs, I guess?
No,
It's not
Yeah,
out
they
of his
were-
budget.
no, we
Not
just,
necessarily, but
But you, when you put that money in the budget, you don't say I need 4 stop signs and 2 yield signs and 1 curve sign and 1 deaf child sign.
I don't.
You don't know what you need, you
I
just
don't
put,
budget, I don't
You know,
budget
I don't
that,
know
it's
if this
just a
is
line
the
item.
place. We've heard this. We said we were putting it on next month. Grilling Jeff is this, it's not appropriate.
And there'll be 5 votes, not,
Respectfully.
5 votes, not 6, right? 5 votes, 5 votes.
there's 5 board members, correct, and 3 out of 5 rules.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to go on record as generally supporting what Ruth said.
Sure.
I think it should be looked at. I don't want to take away from anything with the tractor hazard. I also take that point.
Right.
I don't know really why it can't be both. And I'd like to understand more about the process. So I want to thank all you folks for
Thank you.
bringing up the issue. It's going to be looked at. There is a process. It will get fair treatment.
Thank you.
I think my process on signs is that I replace signs all the time, but they're existing signs, they're in our sign inventory. So if I'm gonna add signs, I'd like the town board's input.
Can you accept,
And the town
can you
board pays
accept
for that.
money from the outside?
That's not an issue.
Okay.
It's really, we've got plenty of money for signs. It's just that I think we needed to have a discussion about it. I thought that when I bought the signs, I probably jumped the gun a little bit on it. We never had the discussion about putting up signs.
Yeah, I recall that, Jeff. You
Yeah.
said there was some
So I said-
unclarity about where the request even originated. It kind
Yeah,
of
I just knew that Richmond had put up signs, the county supposedly was gonna put up signs on County Road 37 and some of the other county roads. You know, I mean, I see these buggies that go by my house to Dollar General, there's not gonna be signs on 5 and 20. They're quickly gonna get outside of where we're gonna put the sign up.
True.
But to protect the family, maybe a good compromise is we put 2 signs up on each side of their house, so we just end this discussion,
Sure,
you know?
and I am not, and I never have been against that.
Yeah.
This wasn't about, no, we can't do this, it was about,
Yeah.
can we spend the money and is it in the budget? That was the
That I-
beginning of the conversation.
I don't know, we could likely go over budget in that line.
We're gonna go over a budget on a few things, and
Yeah.
we're looking closely at it now. We printed out some budget reports to see where we stand at the budget before the meeting, and we reviewed those. And we got some answers to come up with on why we got some discrepancies in some of the reports. And that's part of this process. And, you know, as an anecdote, Scott, for the past 10 or 12 years, you didn't hear an awful lot of discussion at all at the town board meetings. Things moved ahead quite quickly. There was limited feedback by the town board as it related to comments and questions. And I'm trying to open that process up. I'm trying to be open about it. I'm very sorry, and I'm sorry, town board, for this next statement. I think I have overwhelmed some of our town board members with the amount of information I throw at them, because I do send quite a bit of emails, and I send quite a few links, and I talk about quite a few stuff. And as you well know, I'm doing my very best to utilize media outlets to get that information out to people and let people know about things. It's very difficult these days to try to navigate Facebook, postings, websites, printed, electronic. How do people get their media? How do people want to get their media? I want to read a newspaper. I can't read a newspaper. I subscribe to the Sentinel. I get mad when people take them from my office because I don't always have time to read them. I read them later. I read them after hours. So I'm a print guy. Some people aren't. So it's tough. It's tough to get the word out. We try to get the word out to advertise pancake breakfasts and all these other things. It's impossible to get the word out. You can put signs up, people don't read the signs, they drive by and then they call me. Hey, are you having a pancake breakfast this weekend? Okay, you know, hey, Mr. Smith, you've driven by the sign 500 times on your way to work, and you're calling to ask me if it's today? That's how it works. It's a challenge. So we're doing the best. I think we've made stellar improvements over what we had in 2025 and before. And I think there's a lot more back and forth here. There's a lot more questions than I ever saw. I think our board resembles what you see in other towns. When I went to the town board meeting in Menlo with Julie, there was back and forth, there was a bunch of discord, there was a difference of opinions. They did it very professionally, very politely. I think we do that too. That's the process. And I'm doing my best to bring that process here and get it sorted out, and I applaud my board members because they're working with me.
I'm Judy Griffin. I don't think anyone here is trying to tell you that you are not doing your job. In fact, I
No,
appreciate it.
I don't think so.
I make use of it because I generally call you after the board meeting. I think that as being public, being part of the community, we have a responsibility to make sure that you are doing your job too. And if we have a problem, we need to let you know. So if we come up and we are suggesting and we are talking, I don't think it's necessary to say that, as you just told, as you said before, that if we're going to do it, it's the end of the subject. But I think
I'm sorry,
that
could you clarify that it's the end of the subject?
Okay. I think that we should be able to speak so that we can have a productive community. And if it wasn't done before, so be it. We have nowhere to go but up. Okay?
Amen.
So you don't have to apologize for what you're doing or explain what you're doing. We're finally getting it and working it through.
Sure. Yep.
So thank you.
You're
Thank you
very
for
welcome.
listening and thank you for commenting, because in the beginning, we weren't assured of any comments. And believe me, I appreciate that comment.
Thank you.
Are you referring to the grilling part
I think
about asking the questions of Jeff? There's an appropriate way to handle that. So asking him questions is what she was saying, that's not necessary right now. The dialogue between us is fine, but grilling him was just inappropriate. That's all she was saying. This is not the time for that.
And
So,
respectfully,
It wasn't.
no, it wasn't actually, it was not respectful to Jeff.
No.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Scott, how did you take it? Was it?
So we should have let him keep yelling?
There was no yelling. Kathleen Ebling, Bean Hill Road, I thought that was a very productive conversation. I think it's ridiculous if we have a question to not ask the person in charge and to be able to.
He's not in this.
That was the
Well,
point.
no, but he's the person with the expertise in the
Yes,
room.
but that
And
is,
you all refer to other people with the expertise.
this is a town
So-
board meeting. The purpose of the meeting is for you to come and observe us doing business. Jeff is not part of the town board itself, so he does not fall under that. So you can be asking the town board, but we cannot turn around and grill the fire department, the highway supervisor, other residents. It's not the way things are done.
That's what she was just trying to say.
Yes.
To keep the order.
To keep order and to keep following the rules that,
He's an elected official.
yes, but he's not the town board,
call this
and this
meeting
is
to
the
an
town.
Well,
This meeting is over. We have enough public comment time. Everybody's got more than their 3 minutes.
I asked you last week, Julie Lake Road, I said, can we refer to Jeff with a question, because I had asked him a couple times ago, a question which was very helpful, and it was helpful, but I was trying to understand your policy, and none of you said, no, Julie, you cannot ask him a question. So I just wanted
It was new, and I think I even asked him, are you going to address that? And I don't know.
well, I'm just saying, I think at times it makes sense to be able to turn around, he's very nice guy to talk to. You know, I don't know, maybe let him answer for himself, will you be uncomfortable being grilled? I don't know.
In my opinion, it would be up to Jeff if he's willing to answer questions, and that's up to Jeff. Right? He's under no obligation to do so. at a town board meeting. And I can't speak for Jeff, but I'm sure if you call Jeff on the phone, he'll talk to you. He's not hard to
I
talk to.
worked with Jeff twice, and he's been wonderful.
He's super.
He's been wonderful. We've been
I'm not happy with it. Jeff and I have been friends a long time, and Jeff is a tremendous resource, and Jeff does a fantastic job here at the town. And I'm very glad he's our highway superintendent.
I needed
All
him
right, you got-
twice, he's
you
come
got one
up
shot
5
when
minutes
it's-
later, there.
Andrea Stein, Dugway Road. I just wanted to say that I was at a Earth Day event with Tim, and he represented the town in fabulous fashion. He shared his knowledge about what was going on with the county landfill and our recycling needs, and he took the questions that people asked, and he has learned a heck of a lot in the time that he's been in this role, and he did just a fantastic job. And I thought, well, everyone in the town, you know, he did a great job for us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second?
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. And folks, it's my honor to be your town supervisor, and when I'm out in public,